Wow, last SEC conference game has been amazing ride throughout this conference play. A lot of ups and downs. Been a roller coaster in a lot of ways. Started off conference play slow, picked up some steam. Been up and down here recently, but it's not without guys really caring about each other and winning and trying to do it the right way. So as we approach this last game on the road against Georgia, for their senior night, we're going to have to play some really good basketball on both ends of the floor and not just on one end. Hopefully pick up the pace a little bit. We're playing too slow right now, and try to increase some of our possessions and so that we can have an opportunity to take more shots and make more shots. But, I just think we've done a heck of a job of putting ourselves in a really good position. Coming into SEC play, we didn't know what we had because we hadn't gone through SEC schedule yet. But now we know what we have, where we are, what our strengths and weaknesses are. So hopefully we'll play a high-level game and finish off our conference play before we move into the SEC tournament.
Thank you, Coach. Go ahead and get started with Mark.
Just speaking of the ground, I know nobody's 100% healthy, but how do you think the team is doing physically after dealing with, the long stretch of SEC play?
Yeah, I think we're doing good there. Yeah, I just think physically we're doing good. I think we've been very competitive on the defensive end. Mentally on the offensive end, I think we're thinking a little bit too much. We're not having as much fun offensively as we are defensively. So hopefully that'll change. We've seen games where we've put together some, pretty good games on both ends of the floor. And, if you told me against Arkansas that they score 62 points and only make 3 threes, I probably think we win that game maybe 70-62. So we'll get back in practice today. The guys have been good about responding after losses. So we definitely going to need to do that against a really good Georgia team that's got some terrific guards, man. Frazier and Gaines, they're outstanding guards. And so we're going to have to do a good job of defending those guys.
I guess what's the biggest difference between now and the LSU win, the Florida win? What's the difference between losing a few and winning those games?
I just think we hadn't been letting it go from 3 enough. I just think guys didn't have much space against Florida and the ball was gone. Now we're dribbling it. So hopefully we'll get more aggressive, take more chances. Maybe that'll lead to 1 or 2 more turnovers. I just know when we're in a good rhythm of taking some of those chances, I like our team better on the offensive end.
2 questions. I wanted to ask you, do you feel like, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but do you feel like this team has been playing with some pressure, knowing that, coming down the stretch, you need to do this, this, and this, to get where you want to be? You had that talk about the elephant in the room kind of thing.
Yeah, and maybe so. I just think our team is never asking for a shoulder to cry on. They don't make excuses. But this is the first time a lot of those guys have been through this. And, Redden made it, his first year, but he didn't have a significant role. Arthur was nowhere to be found. Riley and Justin, they haven't been through it. So I just think that's what this year is all about. Fortunately, this year, some of the things that has happened to us on the court has come sooner than I thought, but I'm glad that it's come because now those guys have been through some of those pressure moments. Pressure game against Mississippi State at home, that's a winnable game. Pressure game against Arkansas. Pressure game against Auburn. We've had some games. We've done pretty good when we were, major underdogs. But sometime when it's a game that we're viewed upon as a favorite, we haven't done so good. So I'm glad we're back in underdog role going to Georgia.
And I wanted to ask you, just based off of what Dick Vitale said yesterday on a conference call, do you feel like this team, if it is 8-8, you have a
You mean 99?
Or 99, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
If you finish the conference regular season 99, do you think that this team deserves a shot over a team that's maybe 15-3 in their conference at a lower level?
Yeah, and I think I saw some of his comments on your Twitter account, and we really appreciate it. I think we got a great shot. I think the one thing about your resume should speak for itself, okay? And then if you take teams' resumes and then you compare them to other teams' resumes in other conferences, and you look at strength of schedule and RPI and top 25 wins and road wins, and we've done pretty much everything in our conference schedule without our starting point guard. I think, our resume, if we can finish up the regular season and win a couple of games in the conference tournament, I think it should speak for itself. So we have all of the facts. Our guys do a great job of putting all of the facts on our Twitter account and sharing it with you guys. And you do your research, and I just think your resume has to speak for itself. And but in the meantime, we have to control what we can control, and that's going to Georgia and trying to put together a good game.
Just with Dante, he's made some great blocks throughout the season, I guess. What does that do for your team, and how surprised are you that he's playing the minutes that he is and making the plays that he is, looking back at where he was over the summer?
Yeah, it's been a steady climb for him all year. Retton has jumped off the charts, right? But Dante, man, it's just been steady, and he's earned it. And he's been a great anchor for our defense. Sometimes when you're guarding these terrific players on the perimeter, sometimes you're going to get broken down. And he's taken the responsibility of wanting to be the last line of defense and contesting shots, blocking shots, helping us get out in transition with his outlet passes. So, yeah, I didn't expect him to be at the point he is now when I first saw him in June. We were going to basically try to treat this year as a glorified redshirt year by sprinkling in a few minutes here and there. I didn't expect him to be at 20, 22 minutes and getting 5 blocks at the end of SEC play. But it's good. It's given us a guy that can come off the bench at the center spot and give us some great energy.
Yeah, you talked about guys not letting it go from three as much. How much do you think of that as just getting tight after missing one, maybe two, and then trying to do a little bit too much off the dribble?
You know what? And if they are, that's my fault, because, that's part of coaching, breeding confidence in your players. If we're a little tight, it's not their fault. They're kids. They're students. Or as Michael Kessens wants to say when he's trying to imitate my voice, student athletes.
You kind of talked about Retton a little bit, and we've talked all year really about how he's kind of surprised and kind of opened a lot of eyes. But what do you remember about your first experience when you saw him, you saw tape, when you were evaluating him first time, first week, first month on the job? I guess when you think about that evaluation and where he's at now, what goes through your head?
Well, you got to remember it. When I took the job and I started watching him on video, that wasn't the first time I saw him. Okay, so the first time I really studied his game was the last regular season game in College Station last year when I was watching him, and I wouldn't say that I was crazy about him, all right? But when I came in and had a chance to coach him, and the first thing he said is, "Coach, I'm not transferring. I'm staying here. I want you to coach me. I think I have some potential. I want you to try to get the best out of me." And I said, "Are you sure about that?" And he said, "Yes, sir." And when he got in practice and I saw him battling with, Dejon, and they were going back and forth and coming in after practice, reviewing our practices on video, I was thinking, man, we got a guy that has a football-type body that has the ability to shoot the three and really work downhill, and if we can help him improve his ball handling skills and grow his confidence a little bit, we may have something here. So that's kind of how it's all evolved. And then today, which really brought joy and almost a tear to my eye, was when his family came in to say hello to me today, all the Obasahans. And the mom and dad was just so proud of him and happy that I've had a chance to coach him for a year.
I wanted to ask you, too, how much do you feel like your approach to the game, a little wide open, especially from the guard position, allowing him to drive the basket like he does, has really allowed him to kind of blossom a little bit?
Yeah, I didn't have his physical gifts, but I was a downhill player, and we've talked a lot about that stuff, of some of the things I saw on the floor. I don't like using my playing career, especially with young guys, but some of the older guys like Arthur and Riley, they seem to have benefited from some of the stories I've told about when I played.
We got time for about one or two more questions. Go ahead, Charlie.
Just saw a video of Dazon testing out a new piece of equipment.
Yeah.
How good is that to see him back running, and how big is that for his recovery?
Well, the reason why he's testing out that new equipment, because we have an administration, especially, on the sports side, led by our athletic director, Bill Battle, who gets it. They respond when there's a need, okay, in terms of equipment. And that Ultra G treadmill, man, it's something that we needed. We love it. It's going to be a great tool for us. And I'm just happy to see Dejon off the scooter, out of the boot, and we'll continue to condition him, and he's going to get better and better. And hopefully, at the right time, the appropriate time, he'll be on the floor going through more basketball activities with contact. But now is not that time. Cecil?
Anything else from anybody? All right.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, okay.